Okay, so I think that the betrayal of Joe Biden's words are evident in his behavior. And so obviously he didn't mean what he said, because that.
Ben, I promise you, bro, man, your face is one of those faces that hands love to just, you know what I'm saying? Bah, 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 like, Ben, no, why are you lying to your viewers? So when it comes to Trump winning in 2024, a lot of people, and with the age of social media, you hear everybody's point of view, perspectives, or their kind of analysis of the situation. And a lot of different emotions, either, Trump rigged the elections to, it doesn't matter anyway, both parties are kind of trash, which is essentially kind of true. And then you had those that were like, you know what, we survived one term of Trump. We just need to make sure that the guardrails of democracy are in place and we can survive. We can weather the storm 4 more years, which in my opinion is going to be a little shaky, but it's understandable for people to have their different kind of outlooks on it. But one thing that kind of sparks this whole video, that why you clicked on it, is when Joe Biden invited Trump to the White House so they can kind of, have their conversations, brief him, update him on some current things, to kind of start the transitioning of power, which, hint, Trump didn't do the last time. So, okay, anyway. But with the whole conversation kind of turning, I guess the whole 4 years is Trump is a fascist. And if you've seen any of my videos, I stand on that. Because fascism is not a destination. You don't become a fascist overnight. It's a process. It takes a long time to change the government, change the rules and the regulations to formulate a fascist regime. It takes time. It's not overnight. Look at Hitler. He didn't get voted into power, then overnight he was Hitler. No, it took time. It took building trust from, his citizens. But Ben Shapiro doesn't understand that. He's, once again, just like the great Republican strategy, taking something out of nothing. And he thinks just because a few people are like, hey, let's, just try to weather the storm for 4 years and, criticizing Joe Biden for, inviting him to the White House. Ben Shapiro is somehow taking that as Democrats are lying about Trump being a fascist. Let's take a listen.
Democrats, it turns out they were lying when they said that they were afraid of a Donald Trump dictatorship. It turns out that that's nonsense. So here.
No, I am. So you're lying? Maybe. I mean, you call me a liar, I call you a liar. So
here's Charlemagne the God saying, I noticed that you guys were calling him a fascist 5 seconds ago and then you stopped. So what happened?
I just don't understand the White House visit. Now, granted, I'm glad it's a peaceful transition of power, but what happened to the threat of democracy talk? What happened to the fascist talk? By the way, I know I've said those things about Trump as well, but I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about his political opponents like President Biden. When they say it, it holds way more weight than me. I'm just trying to figure out, how do you go from he's an existential threat to democracy to welcome back?
He was happy too. He was happy. He was smiling. He was grinning. He was cheesing. Say cheese. He was cheesing, bro.
I'm just trying to figure out how. I understand President Biden believes in political norms, but damn,
that man is happy as hell to leave. He don't care. He want to go.
Ben, hey, stop it. You weren't enjoying that, all right? Ben, before you talk, let me explain, please, before you start just going, 10 miles an hour, in a few seconds here. Let me explain. It's a difference between folks like myself, Charlemagne the Guy, saying Trump is a fascist. If it was up to me and I was in that White House, I wouldn't have invited him. We wouldn't be shaking hands because that's just me. I stand on business like that. But that is not presidential. And being in Biden's shoes is extremely important, especially when Trump himself didn't do that. He didn't transfer his power peacefully. He denied the election, still denies the election, and caused an insurrection. So what choice does Biden have to do? Either do what Trump did or say, you know what, I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm going to do something that in my gut, in my fiber, I don't want to do. But I know literally the whole world is watching and they're looking for his response. And I guarantee you, if Biden wouldn't have done it, he would have been even more upset. So, of course, when Biden does what a president is supposed to do when his team loses and say, hey, I lost, there you go. But no, Ben has to nitpick at something that isn't there and make it something. Joe Biden can still think Trump is a threat to democracy. You can still think that. But I've been in management positions for the past 6 years. And I understand I can't say what I want to say. I can't do what I would normally do at home or out and about. When I'm, managing 12, 15 people, I have to reserve some things. I can't speak to them like I want to, because then I'm going to get in trouble and I'm going to get fired. So you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, Ben. I mean, you're trying to dress as if you know, but you don't know. When you're in that position of power, people are watching you, and you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, even though your political opponent is not. And to me, that speaks a lot more strength than anything. Because like I said, I couldn't do it. I give him one just real quick. Bow, bow. I'm out this sucker anyway. I'm 80 something years old. I might as well throw some hands and just leave on a high note. But that's probably why I'm not president. You know what I'm saying? So once again, you can still do two things like that at once, Ben. But
I'm sorry that it turns out that all of the propaganda being spewed by the Democratic networks was untrue. Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about that. She was asked whether Joe Biden apologized to Trump for calling him a threat to democracy. She's like, no. I'm going to be so glad when she's gone, because boy, is she terrible.
In the meeting, we saw a unified front related to a transition in the Oval Office meeting, but a lot was said on the campaign trail, like Trump is a dangerous threat to our country and our democracy. Was there an apology today?
I'm sorry?
Was there an apology from President
whom?
Biden for the words, some of the words used?
An apology from the President Biden.
To President-elect Trump for some of the words that was used on the campaign trail.
Look, and I've answered this a couple.
Hey, what she wants to do is jump from behind that podium and serve him up real quick. Like, bro, why are you asking such stupid questions? You think Joe Biden gonna apologize for what? What did he do or say that was incorrect? And if you don't answer, I'm throwing these. You gonna catch every hands. Like, the stupidity of people, Ben, is what caused a Trump re-election. But let's let her finish.
Of times about a threat to democracy in the past week. The president is going to always feel obligated to be honest with the American people. What we want to be also very clear about is the importance of listening to the will of the American people. There was an election. It is important to respect our institution. It is important to respect the free and fair elections. And that's what this president is doing, leading by example and putting that aside and putting the American people first. But what he said still stands. And it's not just him. We should not just put this at the president. His own people said this. So I want to be really, really clear about that and not forget the facts. There are facts here that we should certainly also lift up as you're asking me these questions.
Asking these stupid questions. So Ben, it's weird that you don't like what she said, but I guarantee when you get back on here, because it looks like you ready to say something stupid. Look like you ready to say something stupid, bro. You're not going to figure out or point out what she said that was incorrect. She said Biden feels the way that he feels. Other people in the party feels the exact same way. Obviously, other citizens feel that way, but he has an obligation. He's setting the standard high. He's trying to do something that Trump has torn down the past 4 years, which is the central part of a democracy. or, what we have of it. It's not perfect, but we got something, and Trump has destroyed that. So with Biden doing what he did is trying to uphold that standard. But of course, these low down, dirty, no good for nothing type of Republicans like Ben Shapiro himself don't understand integrity. They don't understand high standards. They live their life, their careers in mud, in nonsense. That's where they live. So when people do stuff like that, they're confused. But let's hear what Ben has to say.
Okay, so I think that the betrayal of Joe Biden's words are evident in his behavior. Right? So obviously he didn't mean what he said, because that.
Ben, I promise you, bro, man, your face is one of those faces that hands love to just, what I'm saying? Bah, 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 like, Ben, no, why are you lying to your viewers? This is sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand it. Stop lying to people.
That's not the way he's acting right now. Meanwhile, nature is healing. Joy Reid is leaving X.
Then he talks about, everyone leaving X because X is, just a cesspool of racist, bigoted, child molesting pedophiles, just, tickling each other, a circle jerk, as one would say. But once again, I don't like the way that Biden did that, me personally, because I am one. If I don't like you, if I have an issue with you, you're going to know that, especially when we're in the same room. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to shake your hand. I'm not going to be like, hey, Ben, how you doing? Give me a high five. No, Ben, if you come at me and you say something stupid, it might be some problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way that I've always been. But I understand from Biden's point of view, you believe in what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Even though you haven't done a whole bunch of things that we agree on, but at least you want to stand on your business. And that's something anybody has a respect. You can hate Joe Biden for everything he's done, but you have to understand he could have did what Trump did and made a whole scene about it. And everybody would have been talking about it. But what does that serve? Nothing. Ben Shapiro is still going to think we're lying about calling Trump a fascist. So it's not like anything is going to change to Republicans. So you might as well do what you can, try to mitigate the damage and just say, hey, Trump, congratulations. Hey, good job and deuces. I'm out this month. You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone. When this whole shit comes crumbling down, don't ask me for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Let Joe Biden go off into the sunset. Do what he needs to do, and that's it. But once again, if you guys disagree or agree with anything that I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below or hit that Discord link so we can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have a conversation.